Folks, welcome back to another episode of Ron Talk here, and got a lot of information to get out here. Don't want to make 2 or 3 videos here, or whatever. Just kind of pour it all into one big video here. So yeah, haven't done Ron Talk in a while, but a lot came out. So let's get right into the show here today. So this week, I even got notes here. I'm so prepared here. I'm making this video on Saturday. I believe this is 9/7, September 7th. And this week, just Thursday on the 5th, DJI finally released their long-awaited DJI Neo, the little selfie drone that has been teased, probably the most leaked drone they've ever had, almost since somewhere around the beginning of August, and with a lot of rumored false release dates and so on. So we had again, it was released on the 5th, but about a week before we got the teaser video, the official teaser video from DJI that was coming. So that was a week before, officially announced on the 5th. It's on the website. Now, let's get into the good and the bad. Right now, getting some specs. The little Neo is $199. That's just the package. You just get the drone, a battery, and some replacement props and some booklets. If you want the 3 battery combo, that's $289. That would include the drone, 3 batteries, a charging hub. And this charging hub is unique. It's the first time DJI's come up with a charging hub that charges all 3 batteries at the same time. If you use, I think you need a 60-watt charger to do that. Or was it a 30-watt? Anyhow, you have to have a certain wattage charger to charge all the batteries at the same time. But people have been asking for that from DJI for years on their drones. So it's finally arrived to the courts on their cheapest drone, but their newest drone. So maybe we'll see that innovation coming on the next real drone, the Air 3S, which will probably be the next drone out from them. Maybe that'll have the same charges all batteries at the same time. Okay, now the bad news is, it's a lot of bad news now. There is no fly more combo for the U.S. A fly more combo usually includes, a drone, a controller, using the extra batteries and whatever. We had that battery package, but that battery package, repeat, did not have a controller. So there is no kit for sale in the U.S. that comes with a controller. And we'll get into more of that now. Let me finish my thought here, and we're going to jump back to that. The pre-orders have started with early October shipping date for the U.S. Canada and most of the rest of the world, they're shipping already. A lot of our Canadian friends have them. They're flying them already, but for some reason, the U.S. is sort of like an embargo. We're not getting them until October. In fact, I pre-ordered on Amazon.com. I pre-ordered both kits, the one with just a drone, and the one with I'll call it the battery kit. Both of them got pushed back like 5 days. They were going to arrive on October 5th. Now, just in the last 24 hours, the shipping date got pushed back to October 10th. So already we have like delays or whatever. On a drone, it's already seems like it's delayed even before we ordered the thing. Now, the good news is, we'll shift back to a little bit of good news. They don't have a controller kit, but if you already own the DJI RC2, that's the controller with the screen on it. The DJI RC N2, that's the controller without a screen. Both of them have received firmware updates that let them work with the DJI Neo. And already we knew this in the advertising. It works with the Goggles 3 and the Motion Controller 3 and the DJI FPV Controller 3. And all that hardware I just said, that's already been released. The controller that got released alongside the DJI Neo is the DJI RC N3, and that that has not been released to any of the drones. So whether you can buy as a standalone item right now, I do not know that. I'm sure it'll be available sale at some point, but it's not available as a standalone at the time I'm making this video, at least that I could find. So good news is, if you've had kind of any controller that came out in, say, the past year and a half or whatever, maybe even longer than that, you'll have a device that can fly the Neo as a camera drone. And you have the latest goggles and latest motion controller, latest FPV controller, you can fly it as an FPV drone. Of course, it's primarily a selfie drone, which you just take off and launch from your hand, which of course you don't need any controller for that, but you can also fly it with your phone using the DJI Fly app. So there's 4 different ways you can fly this thing. So I guess DJI figures the most common way will be just, you know, the selfie audience is just going to fly out of their pod. And they don't want to mess with any controllers or pay extra money. And even if they do want a little bit more control, on the Fly app is now virtual joysticks, you know, where they can, you know, put their fingers around and fly it around. I mean, we've all done phone flying on, well, not all of us. I've done phone flying before on toys drones. It's not really, you know, a big thing. In fact, you had phone flying, you know, virtual joysticks for the Tello. And a lot of people say this is the DJI Tello. This drone's at least 5 years old. Some people correctly say it's a Rise Tello made in partnership with DJI. However you want to call it, you know, it was sold from the DJI website. And this is probably the forerunner to the new Neo, you know, simplified, dumbed down version, have the camera quality that the bigger drones had. Kind of was more of a toy, like a fun thing. So, yeah. So, anyways, just wanted to get the Tello out here just to show, and I hope the Neo doesn't go the way the Tello. Tello was a real fun drone to mess around with, but you know, after you had it for about 6 months, you never really flew it again, you know, because it's kind of a toy, you know. So there it is. Now, a lot of you've probably seen a lot of videos already, all the big channels. I say you can't get in the U.S. unless you're a big influencer. The Billy Kyles, the Ken Donos, a lot of the big influencers have had videos out already. So you probably saw a lot of the, you know, a lot of the specs on the drone anyways. But what I find the most interesting on the drone so far is a couple people have done tracking with it. I just watched DC Rainmaker, and I just watched Sean from Air Photography, and they did tracking through kind of the woods. And even though this drone doesn't have obstacle avoidance at all, it still doesn't really crash that much, because when it follows you through the woods, it follows your path. Somehow the AI in this drone follows you, the path that you took, whether you're walking or on a bicycle. Now, DC Rainmaker proved you can't go real fast, but Sean was going a lot slower on his electric bike, and it kept up with him. But it'll follow your path. So if you walk around a tree branch, you know, and avoid a tree branch, the drone will do the same thing. It doesn't cut corners and try to figure out a better way, like say the drones with the obstacle avoidance and the previous tracking. We'll call it what do you call it? The trying to think of the DJI's has so many buzzwords, active track and spotlight tracking, where they'll try to take the most direct route to track you, which means that could be going through, you know, a forest of trees or branches or whatever. And even though they got AI, they get stuck in there and they can't move, or because of this AI in the Neo, it takes the same path you do. So that kind of almost makes it better for tracking than the drones that have a lot more technology built into them. By technology, I mean hardware technology, like all the obstacle avoidance sensors and things like that. So watch a couple of these videos from these guys I just mentioned. I mean, it really is amazing the way it tracks you compared to any other drone I've ever seen. Both of them mentioned that it tracked better than the Hover X1 because of... Let's move on to story number 2 here. This is a big week for pre-orders here. The GoPro Hero 13 was released. I don't have the 13 here. I'm not a influencer. I don't get things wrong. This is the Hero 12, but the Hero 13 is out now. The Hero 13 Black is priced at $399. It ships by September 10th. You can pre-order it now. You know, right at their website. I don't know if you can get it pre-ordered anyplace else but DJI.com. You maybe can at Adorama and B&H Photo. I don't know that. I haven't checked. But this year, DJI released a second drone. It's called just the Hero. And it's kind of a smaller, stripped down version of the Hero 13. And it's only $199. Now, of course, it has a lot less features than the Hero 13 Black. And it ships by September 22nd. Again, available for pre-order from GoPro.com today. Now, from here on, I'll only be talking about the 13. Some influencers have already had 13 and kind of put out video reviews. I haven't seen any videos on the regular Hero yet because it's coming later, of course. One of the features, I'm going to go to about things that seem to be new or different. Seems like the Hero 13 Black has a a burst slow-mo thing of up to 400 frames per second at 720p for 15 seconds long or whatever. So I think that's like a first of whatever. For regular video, I think the frame rates are, the fastest they are is 240 at like 1080p or something. I'm not a big high frame rate guy, so I'm not a expert on that kind of stuff. Now I'm going to get right to the, I'm going to call it the bad news for a lot of people. People are here just for, the low light, and one in Sensor Army can turn the video off right now. The Hero 13 Black does not have a 1-inch sensor. It doesn't seem to be any better in low light than the previous model, the Hero 12. So that's it. I mean, I think it has the same sensor size as the, as this one, the 12 did. The processor may be faster. I don't know that. Nobody's said that in the video, or it's not in the GoPro specs. So again, not a lot of people are going to be disappointed with that. I understand. Anytime a new action camera comes out, a small camera, they want a 1-inch sensor, and they go crazy if you don't get it. The Pocket 3 is, I think, the only thing that came out with a 1-inch sensor, so far, and it is better in low light. So, but I mean, here's what I don't understand. I'm going to talk to the, the 1-inch sensor army and the low light army here. I mean, if that's your main goal is to have that bigger sensor and better in low light, why are you buying action cameras anyway? Wouldn't you be better off buying like a like a Sony, DSLR type camera, mirrorless camera, or whatever, not just Sony, any of the brands where you had that bigger sensor type of thing. I mean, I know these are cheaper. I guess you're buying these because they only cost $399 instead of, double that, $1,000. But even a lot of the great action in the world happens outdoors, not, I mean, in bright daylight. So I think GoPro, they're aiming their cameras at people that are doing action out in, bright daylight conditions or whatever. So I don't think, they're, people kill the GoPro, but I don't think that GoPro's main focus. If I called this DJI once, I'd make GoPro or whatever. I'm so used to saying DJI. But anyhow, just my take on it or whatever. Relax. It's just my opinion. Doesn't mean anything. It's not important. Just my opinion. So, and here's my advice too. If should you get the Hero 13 right now, I believe the DJI Hero 5 is coming out shortly. So my take is I wait and see what that has to offer as far as things like image quality and features and so on like that. I mean, basically Hero 13, where it's made big improvements. I've watched a couple of videos. They've really improved a lot of like usability features, like it has better battery life, has a big kind of heat release sink down here. It has all these accessories, all these lenses. It has like a macro lens you can focus. Anamorphic lenses coming soon. ND filters, auto detect. Has a lot of good usability features. If you were happy with the camera quality, the Hero 12 is going to probably look the same, but it's going to add a lot of features, kind of upgrade features, make it more of like a professional action camera, even though they're not calling it the Pro. So again, I think it's a nice upgrade. If you're happy with the image quality here, and you don't care about the 1-inch and low light. And here's the thing about the 1-inch that I think the action cameras hold off from putting that on. With the way the technology is nowadays, I'm no engineer, so I can't explain it. The sensors that are below 1 inch, they can do this infinity focus where they keep the whole scene in focus. No matter how people move around. Now you can't, if you put something real close to the camera, it won't focus. But anything beyond anything beyond its own focus range is in focus the whole video. So you can move around point A, point B, you're in focus. Or if you use a 1-inch sensor, you probably have a little depth of field in there, so you could possibly have things move around the image that aren't in focus. So, when you're using an action camera, especially when you're mounting on the front of a bicycle or, on your helmet or something like that, or, you're coming down the mountain to snowboard, you may necessarily not be monitoring that, this back screen the whole time, or even the front screen, to see whether something's in focus or not. So that's why you want infinity focus, so you don't have to worry about that if you're an action guy. Now, if you're trying to use it as a cinema camera, then you are watching it the whole time or whatever. But you see where I'm going with this or whatever. So that, again, put the 1-inch sensor on this kind of hurts it in another way, even though it helps it with its image quality and its low light, but it knocks it hurts the hardcore action sport guys. Again, just my opinion. Don't take it seriously. Okay. And this GoPro here 13 was released earlier in the week. I forget what date it is. This is, again, Saturday the 7th. Someday early in the week, this is when this thing was released. I think about 5 days ago. Well, announced. It released on the 10th. The little one, the Hero, on the 22nd. Okay, what else do I have here? I have the DJI RC2 here. It's got a firmware update just in the last day or two that allows it to be compatible with a new, DJI Neo drone. So that's a good thing. It's another device you can fly the Neo with, along with the new DJI RC3, DJI RC N2, of course the Motion 3, and the DJI. I'm talking too fast here. DJI FPV controller 3, of course, using the DJI 3 goggles, and you can only use the current goggles controllers with the can't back it to Integras or Goggles 2 or Motion 2 or older controllers. So try to say it as fast as I can. And also, when I was doing this, I also saw a firmware update for the Mini 4 Pro, which now allows it to work with the new DJI RC3 controller. So, which I don't have, but if you did have it, you'd be able to fly this with it. So to kind of make it think compatible, they'll get there. Maybe they'll eventually get the older FPV stuff to work with it too. So they're getting there. Okay, and one last thing. Coming up Monday, September 9th, 2024, we have the Apple event. I think it's called Glows, something with the word glow in it. And it's going to be the event where they announce the four new iPhone models, alongside probably new AirPod 4s, not the Pros, the regular, the AirPod 4s, and probably the Apple Watch 10. And as far as the phones go, it'd be the same. Usually be the plain iPhone, the bigger iPhone, the iPhone Pro Max, and the iPhone Pro. So, and I think the Pros are getting a little bit bigger screen than they had the last time around, and they get the faster chip, which will allow them to do the Apple Intelligence, one of the features they previewed back in June at WWDC, kind of Apple's own baked-in AI, so that'll be kind of good. Everything's AI nowadays, and Apple kind of going to bake it into the software a little bit. So, these new, I think it's some new colors, or at least one or two new colors for these phones. So the event is at Monday the 9th, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tim Cook and the boys will be pre-recorded and haven't been live since the COVID. So probably not going to see any new laptops or anything there. I know people are hoping for the new iPad mini, whatever version number. I don't think that'll be there either. Maybe, again, everything outside the event and times I told you, that's all fact. It's published online. The four new phones and the colors and so on, that's kind of more in the rumor mill right now. But anyhow, so if you're due for your iPhone upgrade, and why iPhones are important to content creators that use these things and drones and so on. A lot of people use the phone, to help fly the drone. A lot of people, connect.